Okay. Just about ready. And I believe we're live now, so let me check. Hi, welcome everybody. We'll be starting exactly at 7 o'clock. This is the Agnihotra Lady, and you're watching live from Shanti, Atlanta, the Cosmic Clinic. And so let me share. So just bear with me a second while I make sure we share to a lot of pages. To my pages, and if you're watching, you can view it on the Shanti Atlanta page, my personal page under D. Downs Davis. And we also have it on Shantivilla's page, Shantivilla Institute. And we'll be starting here in a few minutes. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful New Year's Eve filled with lots of meditation, prayers, and contemplation, reflection on the past year, as well as what's to be happening in this new year. I'm so happy that you're joining me here live on Facebook Live. And let me actually post the Zoom link for anyone that would like to join and ask any questions. I will post that now. And thanks for joining me this evening for the 7 p.m. The Agnihotra Ladies, the Cosmic Clinic. Okay, so let me go ahead and post this. So I will post this Zoom information on here on D. Dome's, my personal page, and let me see about posting this on the Shanti Atlanta page. And then we'll be starting here in 1 minute. Just come on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We'll start here in a minute. Let me just go ahead and share the Zoom information. You're welcome to call in on the Zoom number or come in on video. And join me with any questions. So sharing the Zoom info on the Shanti Atlanta page. Okay, so I'm ready. Okay, welcome everyone. I am the Agnihotra Lady, and we're live here broadcasting at Shanti Atlanta here in Conyers, Georgia, and this is the Cosmic Clinic. And this is the New Year 2021 message that I have for you this evening, and I'm so happy that you joined me. And we're going to go ahead and start with beginning mantra and then go right into tonight's talk. Swaha, Agniye, Hiranama, Swaha, Vayave, Hiranama, Swaha, Surya, Hiranama, Rubava, Swaha, Prajapatiye, Hiranama. Okay, greetings everyone, blessings, and welcome to the new year of 2021. And I hope that everyone is looking forward to the world of possibilities for this new year. There's a time of renewal and a time of reflecting on what is really important in your life and cleaning up all the things that don't serve you in your life and bringing about newness of ways of thinking and having loving actions always and being there for your fellow brothers and sisters in your community, your city, and your state, and all across the world. And as we have completed the year 2020, a lot of things have gone on. But I must say that there's a lot of questions that have been answered for people that have had a lot of questions for a long time. So there's a lot of new things that people are learning. Actually, all these events, even though they appear chaotic, there's been a renewal of people being loving and forgiving and helping each other. So always when there's a time of birth, there is a time of destruction before that happens. So that way you do have this birth, this renewal. And so it is a time of Satya Yuga, as some of you may have heard. And so this is what is happening with the consciousness amongst many people all across the world. So things are becoming very clear. The veil is being lifted, and there's all sorts of knowledge beyond what is happening here in the regular mundane things of the world. There's a knowledge that is coming about for the mass of people. And that's what has to happen, because it's a time of higher consciousness, of going to the next level, of being more than what you were before, going into the highest place of your energy that is beyond your human form. And so if you've been watching the Cosmic Clinic with me for several months, you'll know that everything that I've been talking about are things you don't normally hear about. I've been talking about going beyond your five senses, who you are beyond this mortal coil, this human form, the body. I've been talking about all of these things because as much as the media and other things around you have been steeped in what's happening with your job, housing and cars and money and all these things. These are things that distract from you really coming into the awareness of your highest self, which is beyond what the world is going through on the ostensible level. There's something that's going on miraculous in people all across the world, this awakening that people are going through during this time of Satya Yuga. And so I wanted to just really get into really what we should be doing as we're going into the new year. I know that a lot of people have been affected by the pandemic with the COVID-19. A lot of people have had problems with jobs and housing and things like that. But this is the time to be fortified in your spirit and find that strength and go deep within, because unfortunately, the pandemic is nowhere near over. As some of you have been following, we now know that there is a mutant strain, a new strain of the coronavirus. And, we'll see what happens with that and the vaccines that are being distributed now to people who are the most vulnerable. But there's so many things that are going to be coming forward in this new year. Is really the time to prepare yourself and to get used to living simply, living without a bunch of material things, to be prepared for what is happening in the society. I'm broadcasting, of course, here in Atlanta, Georgia, Conyers, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta. And I live in a major city, but cities all across the world, small and large, are having challenges. And so the purpose of the Cosmic Clinic has been to let people know that there is an answer to all the things that are going on. Now, I teach the ancient Ayurvedic knowledge of Ayurveda, and we also teach Ayurvedic medicine. And as you know, Agnihotra is a very powerful practice that is done in a copper pyramid. You see, I have another homofier going here, but it's a basic homofier, and it's performed at sunrise and sunset, and it purifies the atmosphere, and in turn, it purifies you, the human being. So when you perform Agnihotra, you use dried cow dung, you use brown rice, and you use ghee, which is nothing but unsalted butter that has been boiled down. And when you put these items in the pyramid, there's something beautiful that happens in the morning time. There's an interaction from the ethers, electricities, and energies that happen within the pyramid. There's an interaction with the sun and the pyramid, and there's like a awakening, purification, this beautiful music that can be heard on the subtle level. The animals hear it, and if you listen carefully yourself and you do Agnihotra all the time, you too will hear it. You will hear it within you, and not just with these ears here. There's another level of hearing and understanding that you develop when you do Agnihotra on a regular basis. And so we're telling everyone, me and Sri Charles, the main center, Shantivilla Institute, and I'm the Atlanta campus here at Shanti Atlanta, me and Sri Charles have been telling everyone that the answer to all the problems that are happening now is in the Ayurvedic practice of Agnihotra, with the things that are happening to our environment and the climate change. And we now know that climate change is exacerbating the effects of the COVID-19. They do have studies that show that COVID-19 is affected by pollution. This is the way to protect yourself, protect your family with the sacred fire of Agnihotra. You do it at sunrise and you do it at sunset. And like I said, there is a peace and tranquility that settles upon wherever you live, and it settles within your heart when you do Agnihotra. So there's a cleansing that takes place every time you do it. And the animals love it, your heart loves it, your family becomes more peaceful, and you're less stressed. And I know that there are many people that are homeschooling their children, doing the virtual classes at home, and they're not used to doing that. And they're stressed out. They're working from home while they're teaching their children. But I'm just here to tell you, there's nothing to be stressed out about. Just use this time to be still and to really commune with everyone in your family, in your community, and understand that sitting still is a way for you to reset yourself and to receive all the knowledge that the Creator, Mother, Father, God has for you. And it's a way for you to really know and go deep inside and understand what that intuition is. That little voice inside you that becomes even more clear when you sit in silence. And so what we teach here at Shanti Atlanta and Shantivilla Institute, and by the way, Shantivilla Institute is in Tuskegee, Alabama. That's the main center. We teach Agnihotra as well as deep breathing as ways to get rid of stress and ways to really get yourself balanced. And with Agnihotra, if we can clear the pollution of our environments by doing the Agnihotra, that will help a lot of things with the tension that we carry in our minds. Because I've often said, if you're breathing 2,500 gallons of air in a 24-hour period, then you're breathing poisonous air every day. And Agnihotra, this fire, is a way to purify the air around you. So that way you can have clear thoughts. So you have no tension settling into your minds. You don't have negative thoughts, and you're not saying negative words to your spouse or your children or to your coworkers or your boss. This is a way for you to get centered And this is something that's simple that you can do with the entire family and with your community. Everyone finds joy in the Agnihotra fire. And so this is the answer to all the things that are happening. If you're in physical pain, if you are depressed, for those that have served the country and they have PTSD, this is effective. This will help heal you, bring all the love back into your heart, and just wash away all the pain. Agnihotra is the answer. And it is a marvelous way to reset yourself every day and to remind you of who you really are. That you are a son, a daughter of God, the Creator, Mother, Father, God, and to realize that if you're made in His creation, God's creation, then you too are bestowed all the wonderful powers that go along with being the son and daughter of God. So I just want to start with that. And tonight, I do want to talk about um, something that's very important to your existence as a human on the planet, and as well as dealing with the planet and all of the climate change and pollution that's happening with the planet. So, the earth is a living organism, living and breathing, okay? And as people know, and I've talked about often, that everything on the planet, in the cosmos, is contained within our bodies. They now have studies that show that all of this star stuff, as Carl Sagan described it, is all inside of us. It's in every single thing on the planet. But what does that really mean? What that means is when you look at the earth as a living and breathing organism, not only are you a part of the earth, you are the earth itself. Because how can you be separate from something that is actually inside of you? So just think about that. All of everything is made from the same substance. So that means you're not separate. There is no separateness. You are the earth. So whenever you think about what's happening to the earth, think about what is happening to yourself. If you are a part of the earth, whatever you're doing to it, you're doing to yourself because you are the earth. And so the earth is comprised of all these wonderful things. We have trees and plants and valleys and streams, oceans, and we have soil. The soil which covers all of the earth. This is how we grow our food, our plants, our fruits. This is how we're able to sustain ourselves, and the animals are able to survive, and things are growing and thriving. And something that Sri Charles and I talked about the last several days is that there's an intelligence to the soil. And the last couple of shows, I think 2 shows ago, I talked about soil, the importance of the soil, but there's a much more subtle and powerful meaning to when I say the intelligence of the soil. The soil, in its infinite wisdom, is infinite knowingness, it automatically knows what to grow. So you have some soil that you can only grow one type of thing, like maybe a cactus you can only grow in this type of soil. But yet here you have another soil that can grow something else. So the soil automatically knows what to grow. Okay. And just think about when you plant a seed, when you plant seeds, that the soil knows, okay, great, let me take in this water, let me build this root system, let me become this haven for insects and worms. They add to the soil's intelligence. So all these things, these little minute things, they create this beautiful organism in which all of the plants and trees on this planet are grown. And it's beautiful, so beautiful and special and sacred. And yet we take the intelligence of the soil for granted. And just know that the soil, remember, we are the earth, because the earth is inside of us. The soil if you think about it, do we not mimic everything that this soil has to offer? Do we not mimic how the earth plants its day every day, how it functions on a day-to-day basis? All of these things of the earth are reflected in our bodies, every little thing. So let's think about it. I mean, it's so deep when you think about how all these things work with the earth and how they mirror how we're made. Oops, making a little bit of mess here. How we're made and how everything exists like this. We complement each other. So when you think about the human body, we have the veins that flow through our body. Those are like the streams and the brooks that flow upon the various places, the little towns across the United States, across the world. And then we have our blood, the blood in our body. That blood is like the ocean and the seas that exist on the planet. Then you have your limbs, your arms and your legs. Those are like the trees that grow upon the earth. And then, maybe our heads, the top of our heads, these are the mountain peaks. These are the mountaintops. Our hearts, that's the core of the earth. It's got that beating, and it's the foundation of the planet. And just think about the words that we say. The words are flowing from our mouths, and they blow like the wind blows all across the east, the west, the north, and the south. So the human body itself, it expresses itself just like the earth does. All these things that we take for granted. And think about it, we even too take our bodies for granted. Um, and we really take them for granted, and we think about our bodies more closely if we are sick, if we have a serious sickness like a cancer or a heart problem, things like that. But because we live on this round, rotating organism that really is our spaceship, because is going through space. This is something that we should not take for granted, because the earth, we are the earth. We are the earth. And like I said before, the soil knows everything. If you look at the soil and you touch the soil and you become one with the soil, then you understand really who you are as a person. And so there's healing that I've talked about that happens when you touch dirt, when you walk upon it, when you touch it, when you're farming and you're touching the soil and things like that. There's something beautiful that happens, and it's part of the energy cycle. And we have disrupted the energy cycle greatly, actually, because now we have asphalt in these cities. We have these so-called concrete jungles where all you see is just concrete and asphalt, these sidewalks. But I don't know if many people realize is that when you put all of this asphalt down, it interferes with the energy cycle, because there's energy that gets absorbed into the soil, and then it bounces back up into the air. And so when you put a bunch of asphalt and you don't plant a lot of trees, you are interrupting the energy system, that energy exchange. And you're a part of that. You absorb that energy too, that the soil exudes. Okay? So not only is that soil part of this, is part of how trees communicate and trees survive, but you really are interfering with the completion of that cycle for you as a human being. So it's important that we understand that these concrete jungles are not sustainable for the well-being of our hearts, minds, and souls, and the well-being of just completing the energy cycle. That energy cycle has been around forever, since the planet has been alive. And when we interfere with everything that is a part of us. And so that is the intelligence, the sacred intelligence of the soil, what the soil has to bestow upon us for us to join in and be part of this complete circle. This is what we're talking about. Everything is connected. And so when we look at the earth, the soil, there's so many different components to how things function. Okay, there's a lot of things happening on a very minute level that you cannot see with your eye. There are a lot of different things that happen to bring about the harmony that which we call life. And when one thing is amiss, then everything is amiss. And I've talked about this before too. It's a scientific principle called man, microbes, flora, fauna. And so one in that list that I just said, when one is tampered with, it tampers with them all. Man, microbes, flora, fauna. And Free Charles has been talking about this, oh my gosh, for more than 46, 47 years. And so it's time for us to go back to the foundations of what constitutes life, what helps to bring us back into the highest level of energy, which are awareness. So now during Satya Yuga, a lot of people are talking about they're having dreams and visions and different experiences. It's no coincidence. This is who we really are as people. We're much more than these organic life forms. We're much more than these mere human experiences. There's something beyond the five senses, beyond these bodies that we have. Our energy is endless. We are endless individuals. There is no death. That's just simply a transformation of the energy. Once we die and leave these human bodies, then we can go ahead to the highest form of awareness of existence. And so there is no death. And many teachers have talked about this. There is eternal life because life does not exist in what we think it does. Life is so much more than what is visible with the human eye. There's so much more for you to experience beyond what you see, what you smell, what you taste, what you hear. There's so much more. And so you'll find, and people that do agriculture on a regular basis, they can tell you that there becomes a hyper sense awareness of all that is beyond all of this. There's an intuition that is developed. You begin to have a deeper, I would say, connection to the creator, because you're never apart from the creator. You may think you're apart, but you're not. It's just that we don't sit still and listen. So there's something, a deeper awareness of the real truths outside of the human experience, outside the experiences living on this planet, that goes way beyond what anyone can imagine. And just know there are billions of solar systems, and we're just one, a little tiny speck, this solar system. And so just know that this knowledge, this awareness that I'm talking about, it goes beyond all these billions of solar systems. And what we do on this planet, it reverberates and affects everything else. And I've talked about that often as well too. And so what has happened, moving on to the subject of pollution, is that there's so much pollution that happens. I mean, we think about air pollution, water pollution, you know, animals creating pollution from conventional farming and things like that. But there also, I mean, gosh, there's so much stuff beating against the human body. We have noise pollution, we have light pollution. Yes, you know, we have all these artificial lights. You have pollution that is extended into the electromagnetic field. Okay, and all these things are beating up against your body. It is beating against the planet and the animals on the planet. Um, and prana now is polluted. And prana, as some of you all, if you don't know, it is the life force that envelops everything. It surrounds us. Okay, and so now the prana is polluted, which um, the teachers have been talking about that. Master Vasant under the guidance of Paramasaguru Sri Gajana Maharaj. They talked about this in the 70s about prana being polluted, and people, being more confused with their thoughts and more erratic behavior, and even things happening now with growing food. All these things that Master Vasant talked about in the 70s, they are coming to fruition now. Things that are happening to our planet. So the life force, what do you think happens to you as a human being if the prana itself is polluted? That is serious. I mean, we've talked about, we have space fences around the planet because we have so much space debris. But we have polluted outer space. We got so much stuff floating around up there, all these satellites and things we have up there. That's pollution, and that affects other planets. And now, like I've talked about before, we're talking about doing things on Mars and digging around the moon. You really can't do it. It's a balance that has been betrayed, and we're the ones that are the betrayers. We can't do that and not reap the repercussions. So in this year 2021, it is time for us to be aware of what is happening and how we as human beings are the caretakers and have to take care of what is really happening. Make sure that this. So I'm ready. Okay, so I'm trying to just make sure that everything is able to be recorded. I don't know if everything recorded here. Let me just double check the technical issue. I'm trying to just make sure that everything is able to be recorded. I don't know if everything recorded here. Let me just double check the technical issue. I'm trying to just make sure that everything is able to be recorded. I don't know if everything recorded here. Please double check the technical issue. Just make sure that everything is able to be recorded. Okay. I don't know, for some reason, I don't think anything was recorded. I've been talking for the last 30 minutes and nothing was recorded. So, hey, everybody. This is the Agnihotra lady. I don't know, for some reason, I don't think. And welcome to the Cosmic Clinic. Nothing was recorded. I just realized that. So I'm going to have to start again. I don't know how many people were waiting while for me to come on, but I don't think anything recorded. So we would start again. I guess it was meant for me to start again for some people to come on, but nothing was recorded. Well, that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started again. Now, and I did post. Let me make sure that I posted the links. At least I did that properly. Okay, let's see. Maybe the audio came in. I don't know. So you have to bear with me. I don't know. That's a doozy of a technical difficulty. Okay, once again, this is the Agnihotra Ladies, the Cosmic Clinic, and welcome to the New Year 2021 message. I'm so happy that you're joining me this evening. I'm live here at Shanti, Atlanta, here in Conyers, Georgia. And if you don't know, I'm the Atlanta campus of Shantivilla Institute, run by my husband, Sri Charles. And so just wanted to take this time to talk about what is happening in the new year and kind of, talk about resetting yourself, renewing yourself, rejuvenating yourself, because there's a lot of things that are going to be happening here in 2021, and everybody needs to be prepared because it's not quite over with. Everybody's looking to get back to a new normal. And I don't know, when is the new normal going to be happening? I mean, or going back to normal. I don't really think it's going to be the normal that everyone expects, but you have to be prepared. And this is the time for you to go quiet and go deep within and to develop yourself to for whatever's in store. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Blue swaha. Agnihotra swaha. Vayave swaha. Surya Bordwa swaha. Rajapatiye Okay. So welcome to the Agnihotra Ladies, the Cosmic Clinic. And anyway, so we will start again. And I covered so much stuff. So let's just start it again. And this time I see it is recording like I wanted it to. Okay. So I first wanted to say that it is a time of Satya Yuga, and this is the time in which people come into the knowledge. So a veil is lifted from many people's faces so that they understand things that they didn't understand before. And in Satya Yuga, this is a time of rebirth. And during that process, there's a time of destruction so that there can be a rebirth. This renewal, though, it is the destiny of humans to come into a higher level of consciousness. So many things will happen to clear a path to the real knowledge, to the hidden knowledge, things that were not revealed before are revealed now. And so this is the time of Satya Yuga, which many people have been talking about. So this renewal is a glorious thing. It is a thing of magnificent, that you come into your level of awareness as a human on the planet and going beyond the human experience. Because what we know as humans now on this planet, dealing with the coronavirus, dealing with joblessness and losing homes and people are talking about how they're going to make money, this is actually the time for you to go beyond all the things that are happening in the mundane day-to-day activities and going deep within. And it is this consciousness that Satya Yuga is about, consciousness on a mass scale for the mass of the people. So for people that have thought of themselves as weak, they now will be strong and fortified with the real knowledge that has been kept from them, because now they're having a different experience as a human on this planet. And the experiences run very deep, but we're all meant to, on a mass scale, come into this consciousness. And this is the destiny of this planet, so the planet can go on to the next level, so we all can go to the next level. There's a level beyond this human experience that is magnificent and glorious. And now it's time for those of us who have been thought of as weak and preyed upon and overlooked, for us to come into the real knowledge of the true self. Your true being, the origin of who you are, that's beyond the flesh and bones and blood of the human form. This is the true form that is immortal, and it goes beyond anything physical on this planet. The time of Satya Yuga is the time for awakening and going to this highest level, and knowing that eternal life is for everyone, because we're made in the image of the Creator, Mother, Father, God. It is a time for us to walk in this knowledge and go beyond what we thought we never could, especially people that have been mistreated and stepped over and stepped on and abused. It is time for all of us that have experienced those things to get beyond that and go and walk into a greatness and magnificence that is such a wonderful thing to behold. So during the time of Satya Yuga, this is when the destruction paves way for the renewal that we have in our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. This is what we feel. Many people have said that they've had dreams and visions, and they've been feeling something is coming. And this is what you're feeling. No matter what faith you have, or if you don't have a faith, you may have been feeling these things. And it's not a coincidence that people from across the world have been talking about this, because it's a time of renewal. It's a time for humans on a mass scale to get to the highest level of knowingness, the highest level that goes beyond any knowledge that you may know in this earthly realm, beyond any degree or anything that you've read in a book. This goes well beyond any of that. This is real knowledge, the sacred knowledge that many ancient sages, masters, and yogis have talked about for centuries. So everyone will be strong and full of bliss and full of love. This is a time for you to be at home while you're working from home and your children are doing virtual learning and all these things. This is a time for you to go deep within and to unleash the intuitiveness, to be even more connected with the Creator, Mother, Father, God. to develop the powers that have been bestowed of you, because each of us have been made in the image of Mother, Father, God. And what that means that we have all of the powers that entails. But we have to sit still and listen. Listen and sit still. And when you sit still and there's no talking, you don't have the TV on, that is when all is revealed, when the knowledge comes in. So you can call it meditation or prayer. This is a time for you to really go deep within and do all of that, so you understand who you really are and what that really means when we say that you're made in the image of Mother, Father, God. All of us are sons and daughters of the Creator, and all of us are magnificent divine beings. If only we just sit and listen and be taught in that silence. The silence is an excellent teacher. There's many things that you can learn from being in the silence. And so one of the tools that we talk about here at Shanti Atlanta and at Shantivilla Institute, we talk about and we teach the ancient Ayurvedic wisdom of Agnihotra. Agnihotra is a practice that's done at sunrise and sunset, and it brings about a purification of the planet. It erases the pollution. It purifies the earth. And in turn, you too are born and new and purified. And so it is done in the copper pyramid. We use dried cow dung. We use brown rice. And we use ghee, which is nothing but unsalted butter that's been boiled. And so the process is a wonderful process. In the morning, there's an interaction with the sun and the copper pyramid. There are energies, electricities, and ethers that come about. And there's a cascading of that upon the whole planet. And so within a 8 miles up and 2 mile radius, there's that cleansing that takes place, a cleansing of the atmosphere, a restoring to the nutrients to the soil, where the plants are dancing and rejoicing because they are being restored. They're being liberated from all of the pollutions and toxins we have dumped into the earth. And so that is the morning Agnihotra. And then we repeat this process at sunset. And this is when those ethers, electricities, and energies, they recede. And there is a wonderful effect of purification as well at sunset. And so the planet, it runs on cycles. Everything upon the planet. I mean, the way the planet rotates and how its relationship to other planets in the solar system, all of that affects our minds and our behavior. And so now we're seeing, as foretold by many ancient teachers in the 70s, that even the prana, which is the life force, the prana is polluted because of all the things that humans have done to the planet. And this is unacceptable. And it's unacceptable not just because we're destroying the planet, but it's unacceptable because we are not just a part of the earth, we are the earth. And so when you do these things to pollute, you're messing with yourself on the subtlest of levels. You're messing with your aura body. You know, we have an auric body. And so Master Vasant, who was guided by the Paramasag Guru Sri Gajanai Maharaj, he talked about this in the 70s. A lot of the things that he talked about are coming to pass now, about problems growing food and the prana being tainted and all these things. It's because we have lost sight that we are part of this big, beautiful thing that's beyond the ordinary things that we think of here on this planet. And so if we talk about the earth, a lot of us think of the soil, and Sri Charles and I were talking about the intelligence of the soil. And I've talked about this in a few other episodes, that yes, there is an intelligence of the soil. The soil is very wise and knowing of how to function without any interference from us. And let's think about this. So you have a soil that can only grow one type of plant. Like say, for instance, a cactus can only grow in a type of soil. Then you have another soil that, only certain things can grow in that soil. I mean, how intelligent is that? And to know and think you too are comprised of that soil. And so when we're talking about intelligence, we're talking about a cosmic intelligence. This is beyond what we know as of the human construct of intelligence. This is ancient alchemy, knowingness of the soil, intelligence of the soil. And the soil, I mean, think about it. It knows how to nurture, seeds that are placed inside the soil. You put water there, it knows how to let the water be absorbed and how to form roots. So it's communicating and it's nurturing the seed until finally it blossoms and gets pushed up through the soil and creates something that we can eat, create something that sustains us. And so it's in balance and harmony with everything that is happening on planet Earth. And that includes us. So when you think about this miraculous, if you think about it, if there is a such thing as magic, that is magic. How does it know how to do that? How does the soil know how to nurture this plant versus that plant? How to bring all this about? Just the whole harmony of that is beautiful. And do we not, as human beings, our bodies have that same process that mimics everything that happens on the earth? We are built in the same way, with that same construct of everything being in harmony. So the earth, the human body, constructed in the same way. And I'll give you the example. So you have the veins that run through your arms and legs. These are like the brooks and the streams that flow all through our cities and towns. And then we have the blood that circulates through our entire bodies. Those are the oceans and the seas. Okay? And then we have our arms and our legs. These limbs are like trees that grow upon the earth. And then we have our heart, which could be like coincide with the earth's core, always beating, the center, of us having the love and the forgiveness and all of that. And then our heads can be likened to mountaintops, those peaks that we look at in those pictures of the Himalayas and Mount Everest and all these places. Our heads are the peaks, the mountaintops. And then when we speak, the words that flow from our mouths, they flow like the wind that flow east, west, now north and south. And of course, for women, our wombs are very much like the soil. A seed is placed inside the womb, it is nurtured, and then another human life is grown. So that could be likened to the soil. So if you pay attention, if you observe, and just go out in nature and just see what happens in the soil, the insects and the worms within there, and just looking at things growing day by day, you would understand the wisdom, the intelligence of the soil, and also understand yourself better as a person. Since you are the earth, not just a part of it, but part of this system that is balanced in every way, then you understand too that you too possess an intelligence that goes beyond intelligence in the human way that we think. It's beyond any book, any degree that you have. This is the knowingness that we have, the intuition that God has placed inside of us, that power, this eternal power that is ever present. And this is the true immortality, the eternal life, knowing that we are beyond these bodies. We're beyond these things that happen on this planet, because there's another level of existence that happens beyond these human bodies are concerned. And I talked about this before about Satya Yuga, and knowing this at the very beginning of the show. There is something that is wonderful and magnificent that happens once we drop these human forms, because there is no death. There's no true death. There's just simply another level of existence that goes into this higher level of consciousness that we talked about, that people are going into in this time of Satya Yuga. So you never die. You are an eternal being, which many teachers and sages and masters have talked about. You are eternal and powerful, and your existence beyond this life form as a human, you go into another level that's beyond the five senses, beyond any sort of thinking or human intelligence is any of that. And so when I talked earlier about the intelligence of the soil, what I'm talking about is the sacred intelligence, the original knowledge that has been around since before time. This is what I'm talking about. And each and every one of us is an eternal being. Every one of us is a master and a yogi. The only difference between you and a master and a yogi and a great teacher is that they know who they are and you don't. But we're all the same. And so this higher consciousness that is happening on a mass scale with Shasta Yuga, we all are coming into this because we all are the same, whether we realize it or not. It's just that during this time of being still at home, this is the time for you to meditate, do your Agnihotra fire, and come into that knowingness. And so Agnihotra is a way for you to tap into your intuition, to understand what's happening to you. Maybe you'll have dreams that will answer a lot of things you had questions about. But this is how you really tap into that part of you that is beyond the physical experience of being a human being. And so it's really important. And I wanted to really touch on the intelligence of the soil and how all this is related to knowingness, and it is related to everything that's happening. So getting back to the soil, a lot of people may live in concrete jungles where there's a lot of asphalt and things like that. But it's not the best place to be, because when you have all this asphalt laying on top of the soil, you're actually blocking the energy of being absorbed into the soil and then bouncing back up in the air. So there's a cycle that takes place, and the soil, of course, is part of it. We all are part of it, and you break that cycle. And it's important that you understand that, because you actually complete the cycle when you touch the soil when you walk barefoot and if you're planting, you do anything on the soil, you're part of that energy cycle that becomes complete. And so it is disrupted, it's incompleted when you have all this asphalt upon these cities, you know. And I understand we have to, a lot of people live in these cities, but it is not beneficial for us as humans to be able to be a part of that energy cycle because we're energy beings. So I did want to talk about that. And think about it. Anytime that you can touch the soil, you are healed. This is a natural thing because anytime you plant a seed and something can grow from the soil, then it automatically can heal because it's nurturing. It is constantly growing and revitalizing something. So how can it not be healing? And we're part of that process. We are part of that process. So I just wanted to touch upon that. And anyway, we're close to 8 o'clock. I hope I talked about everything. Because nothing was recorded before. So before we leave, so our main website is shantivillainstitute.com. And of course, Shantivilla Institute is located in historic Tuskegee, Alabama, right up the street from Tuskegee University. So here's our signature Shanti's Golden Nectar plant food. And this is concentrated. Farmers and home gardeners will love this. This Ayurveda is beyond organic. You can order this from our website. And then we also have The Secret Science of Mudras, which I've demonstrated some mudras before, book written by Sri Charles. And this is available on our website. And we still are out of Agnihotra kits right now. So I'll let you know when we have some of those available. We have other books and other things that are on the website, but those are our two best sellers along with the Agnihotra kit. So Shanti Atlanta, the phone number here is 404-487-8156. And you can find me on Facebook at Shanti Atlanta. And the website is healthpluslifestyle.com. And then the main center is shantivillainstitute.com. And I really appreciate you for joining me this evening. And I hope you have a blessed beginning of your new year. Blessed, prosperous, happy, and healthy. Until the next time, this has been the Agnihotra Lady on the Cosmic Clinic. And I will see you later on.